Just my name. My looks, you would never mistake it for Brian. Like,
Patrick, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Unfortunately, we can't hear you. Are you familiar with American Sign Language?
Not, but I can try to learn quick.
Oh, it's all done.
oh,
No.
But now it's still. What about telepathy?
Oh, that.
Casey, our air quality is poor today.
Yeah.
It was like that yesterday too. Yeah, we had.
Is that what it is?
Patrick, could you try speaking again?
Hasn't Canada like completely burned yet?
I read an article last winter. They call them zombie fires up there. These big logs are burning.
It's still
And
burning.
it snowed over the top of it and they're just moldering away. They figured it was gonna come back and it is.
One more time. Let's try now.
How about now?
Hey, there we go. Thank you.
It was bad yesterday.
Yeah,
It really got bad.
yeah. I don't feel so hot. I think that's why. I did a lot of breathing yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm chair and vice chair. Who is the vice chair who'd like to run the meeting if neither of them show up? Huh?
You have a quorum, right? 3 people, 3 of 5.
Good practice for you, Ben. Grooming.
I like it.
Follow me to run the meeting then? Oh, I should think so. As secretary?
Doesn't sound right. Sorry.
I think I don't know. No, believe it or not, I don't think I have.
MJ wouldn't be missing. That's not her.
No, that's what I was wondering. where she was.
Yeah.
Here, someone's close, kind of wondering where she.
Chris.
Well, we have that vice chair. We have a vice chair. Gonna be super happy.
I'm waiting for you.
We needed you. We are missing our chair and you are vice chair.
In the vice chair, neither one were here. You got it just in time.
We are very excited to have you here, Chris.
All right.
Well, I guess we might as well jump right into it and call this meeting to order. Let's see here, we've got Walton, Hanson, Hawkinson, Osseth, no Mary Jo, and we got Mr. Klaus. So next, I suppose we need to approve the agenda for the evening.
On the agenda, John?
Second.
It's been moved in second and we approve the agenda. Is there any discussion on the agenda? We have no discussion. We will proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Hi.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. We probably need to review the minutes from the last meeting. Yes.
I'll move the second, so accept the minutes.
Yep.
Second, John?
You can review those minutes there if you have not reviewed them already. Yeah, do we have any discussion on that? If not, we will proceed to vote. All in favor of approval of the April 8th meeting minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Looks like we can jump into the variance application for Bold Schools.
All right, we have with us, Megan Benson, from Nexus, Patrick Triggs, and Damian Erickson. Who would like to start with your, application? I know I was working with Megan.
Hi, Megan. I can't actually speak for, I can only speak for a few minutes. I'm actually administering a final for my class at the moment.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. So in the packet, there is a letter that we hope kind of outlines what we're asking for, with the variance. And, if you have any questions, Patrick is the architect, Damien is our civil engineer, and they should be able to, really help answer any additional questions that you might have that you don't feel were answered with the letter, or in addition, things that you have in addition to what was required of the application.
Okay, thank you, Megan. We'll go back to Patrick then.
Yeah, so I can walk you through the high-level version of what we're requesting. The referendum that passed last year by the school district involves a couple of additions to the building. And the northeast addition, which attention was called to in the exhibit, is actually an athletics addition that will be for school and community use with a multi-purpose room and a fitness center and a wrestling area. And that addition is also the section of the building that we have identified to make a storm shelter in compliance with the storm shelter requirements that the state passed in 2020 as part of the 2020 building code. Because of the need for it to be a storm shelter, its size is driven by the student and teacher population of the building. And so that addition is currently sized in a way that it exceeds the setback requirements laid out in the Olivia code. So those setback requirements of 25 feet, our north edge of that addition is sitting about 10 feet outside of that, so about 15 feet inside the property line. And so the variance we're requesting is for that 15-foot setback instead of the typical 25-foot setback. And there's certainly more details about it I can provide if there are any specific questions from anyone on the commission.
What is the current footage from the curb to the current building? So like what will it be afterwards if this addition is put in? Or maybe I couldn't hear me.
No, I could hear you. Sorry, I'm just flipping through the sheets so that I can try to answer that as accurately as possible.
It looks like in the existing condition, it's about 85 feet from the back of curb to the existing building at that northeast corner.
"15 feet from the property line" means 15 feet from the curb, right?
No, it's further back from the curb than that. The property line sits, it sounds, Damien, like maybe you have the measuring tool called up.
Yes, I have the plans open in the background here. It looks like the property line is about 17 feet from the back of curb.
Okay.
Will this addition be used as the main entrance for athletic events and or students?
It will be one of the athletic entrances and the primary public entrance for people coming to use the fitness center that's part of this addition. The main student entry and the main I'm going to say event entry for people coming, for instance, for basketball games, will continue to be in the location sort of on the east side of the building off of the main parking lot.
It'll be the main entry for the pool, I assume, huh?
Correct. It would become the main pool entry and then the entry for the fitness center.
Anyone else have any other questions or anything? Looks pretty self-explanatory to me, I guess, at this point. We can, or go ahead.
How tall of a structure is this?
It's about 25 feet tall. They will be doing practice in there for various sports and golf especially, and so we're keeping that volume there. So our target height there is 25 feet.
I had a kind of a question on maybe the flow of some of those sidewalks on that north edge. Can you guys talk about that and maybe relation with the loading dock and how that all works? It looks like it's getting kind of cut off through there, I guess, notably with the loading dock, unless you guys are still working on some of those details, but
Yeah, I can speak to some of those sidewalks on the north side. As you mentioned, the loading dock area does kind of intersect some of the sidewalks there, and so we are still working on those details. We're trying to ideally connect. There's a road intersect or a T just to the north of a couple of these building additions that have some crosswalks there. It looks like the sidewalk isn't really consistently going east and west on the north side of the building, and so as we're working through some of these details, trying to get the building addition sizes finalized, that loading dock area finalized, we're going to try to create a route that is within the property lines and a route that is also safe enough where it doesn't, direct traffic to the loading dock or to some of like the hazards that could be around the loading dock of, just having that exposed 4-foot loading dock itself. We don't want to really invite traffic over there, but we recognize the need to create the circulation, just connecting the various crosswalks and whatnot. So as soon as those plans are developed and this design kind of settles down, we can absolutely provide that information.
yeah, that did answer my question. Yeah, as you guys, if this keeps moving forward, just keep that in mind because I'm not sure how well it'll work right now, but obviously you're preliminary in the design phase.
Just a quick question, because I want to be that person in the room. Is this the absolute for sure place you have to put it in this plan, or have you considered alternate options to not need to be in this 25-foot area?
We have considered other options as we have developed the plan. The reason that this one has made the most sense is that it interfaces the best with the school's programming needs and the responsible fiscal use of the referendum funds. Specifically, what I mean by that is that the school's referendum-driven need for these physical education spaces happen to overlap really sort of surreptitiously with the size that the storm shelter is required to be by the state code. Additionally, this kind of space lends itself to being made into a storm shelter because typically it does not have a lot of openings. And one of the requirements around a storm shelter is structural integrity, obviously, during a tornado event. The other additions on the building, which are the main entry and the commons, are the main entry addition and the commons addition is quite large, which would make it fiscally difficult to reinforce those structurally to be a storm shelter. Because, well, in the case of the small one, because the shelter would just be too small for the requirements of the building. And in the case of the commons, doing an oversized storm shelter would be spending a lot of those referendum funds on structure that wouldn't actually be required, and therefore taking money away from the educational initiatives the district is trying to advance with the referendum. And so then as far as why that addition that is the nice size that overlaps with the Phi-Ed programming is located where it is because that is the one place on the site that allows it to be adjacent to the other physical education components of the building. So it puts it in as a neighbor to the pool and to the gym, so that those portions of the building are organized in a way that'll serve the school and be easy for the public to use as well.
What about to the east of the pool though?
To the east of the pool would be substantially disruptive to their on-site parking.
Right.
And so this location allows most of the existing parking lot to stay intact as well. So again, trying to sort of maximize the way that the referendum is able to be allocated.
I had to ask the question.
Yeah, little history.
No, of course.
It's a gigantic investment.
Any other questions? Guess we can move on to the next subject. Or the next section of the variance.
For that one, with the variance application, what the planning commission would need to do is base their recommendation to the zoning board of appeals. So you would need to call for a vote for either recommending it or not recommending. So that we can move this project to the zoning board of appeals.
This is the only zoning issue that's with this project at this point.
This variance, yes, this is all they're requesting for this variance is this setback issue. After that, that is two different site plan approval. We broke it apart so they could still move forward with something. So we'll look for the approval of this, or recommendation of this variance first. Does that make sense?
Got it.
Okay.
Then we will entertain a motion for either, acceptance of the proposed variance. Or do we need to do something different?
We can have conversation after we go through the motion and second, if that's what you're concerned about.
No, I'm not, I believe the motion would be, someone would make a motion to either recommend it or not recommend
Oh,
it
yeah.
to the zoning board
Yeah.
of appeals. And then you would look for a second.
Just for the record, I'll be abstaining from voting on this one and the next item for professional reasons, so.
Got it.
I'll make a motion to make a recommendation to the zoning board of appeals to bring this in front of the zoning board of appeals for variance purposes. Approval.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll second it. What he said.
Well, it's been moved to second that the proposed variance be passed on to the Board of Appeals. Is there any discussion on this particular topic here?
Everybody comfortable with the with what Nexus has put together as far as, you know, checking all our boxes?
It's fine. I think it's fine. I mean, it's not gonna be like right on top of the street. I guess that was my first concern. So there is a comfortable amount of space there for either green area, and it's gonna be a sidewalk there, I'm sure too, and you know, exit entrance of the site. I think that's a good spot for it. I mean, basically, it's in front of the pool there now, and there's just some open area there. It's just gonna be a little smaller now. But yet, like on the other hand, if you put it and take up parking lot spots, well, then all of a sudden you might, well, number one, you're probably gonna open up a can of worms with now you don't have enough parking space that's already limited there anyway. And then subsequently possibly more cost involved because of the different positioning. And then also you really don't have kind of a main entrance there coming at least from the north. So it seems to be the best of all the situations put together there. I mean,
Yeah, because it's the drop off also on that side that you would interrupt of all the students.
well, you'd like the bus loop?
Yeah,
That's on the
no,
west
no,
side.
no,
Yeah.
no.
But I
on
mean,
the
like,
other side.
yeah, I mean, if you're coming in for athletic events, basketball, whatever, and if there's a wellness center that you're gonna be entering, that's all in that area. Um, Obviously, we're kind of probably lacking some sidewalks, at least on the north side of that street, but you have some type of kind of a athletic area entrance, so.
That green space and that kind of tucked in behind the, you know, by the pool and the chain link fence by the parking lot is, I don't know if it's used at all. So this is.
Right, usually it's trampled grass that doesn't grow very well and it kind of doesn't look the best and, you know, difficult to maintain on a north side of a building, that kind of thing. So we might as well have building there, I guess, and make it useful. Any further discussion? If not, I guess we will call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. So what is, move on to discussion item B, bold school plan option 1, option 2. We'll get some, background on the, option 1, 2 option here.
On page 19 and 20, Megan and I had discussed, preparing 2 site plans in case a variance wasn't going to be recommended or a variance will not be approved by the zoning board of appeals. Since you are recommending it, we would like to look at site plan A, or site plan 1, sorry, on page 19. The applicant is looking for a site plan approval, showing the addition 1 at the northwest portion of the property. The addition 2, which was the variance subject, contingent upon the appeals approval, and the addition number 3. They would like to show the planning commission the site plan and requesting approval of the site plan to move forward with their project.
So in, site plan 1 there, addition number 1, is that within the existing footprint of the current building, or is this in addition to the current building corner there in the northwest corner?
Addition 1 does extend out from, so the existing northwest corner of the building, that original building from 1922, as part of this project, is proposed to be demolished. It is sort of beyond its useful life at this point, even with renovations. So the addition extends out further than the existing building, but not substantially. In the site plan 1, there's kind of there's a hard black line inside the footprint of the addition. And that hard black line represents the existing footprint of the building. So as you can see, the addition is mostly in the same place as that existing building, but it does extend out slightly to the north and a little bit more to the west.
That single story as well?
Correct. That addition is single story.
And what is the new use for that particular area? Obviously, I'm assuming must be mechanical or storage wise with the loading dock there.
Yep, that's correct. So in that addition, just south of the loading dock, like you mentioned, is storage and receiving for the building. Just south of that is a new kitchen. And then south of that are a new entrance to the building that will go into the new cafeteria. The cafeteria is actually going to be positioned where in that building where the existing wrestling room is downstairs. That'll get infilled and the cafeteria will be built on top of it. So kind of to the east of what's outlined as the addition here. And then south of that new entry are new art room and fax classroom.
Is that loading dock, is that a platform concrete or is it enclosed? Are the trucks backing up to a platform or is it an enclosed loading dock? It's kind of hard to tell.
Yeah, no, it's a platform that they would back up to at 4 feet. So the overhead door into the building would be the first time that you're inside.
Okay, so it's not a building addition, it's just concrete.
Correct.
Again, my comments on that one would be just to make sure that the sidewalks flow through there. Looks like you're dropping down to the loading dock for access, but then how you get back out and connect to the east would be something you guys will have to look at moving forward.
Yeah, as Damian mentioned, we'll continue to refine that and keep you updated.
On the addition 3, is it meant that the traffic through that loop will be two-way traffic or one-way traffic?
It'll be 2 lanes of one-way traffic. That's the intent. So essentially a drop-off lane would be the rightermost lane. That way passengers and students can exit out of the vehicles on the passenger side, out of the right side of the vehicle, get dropped off, on that concrete plaza right near the main front door. And then once the passengers exit the vehicle can continue on. And then the left lane would also be traveling in the same direction. And that would is just what we call like a through lane. So to minimize some of the congestion within that small parking lot, we have a through lane. So there might be some vehicles that aren't looking to drop off at the front. They can just continue through and continue to find a parking spot. And all that sort of information will be better better shown and better more available to the drivers via signage and paint striping and other more accessible ways like that.
What's this little gray shaded in area, just on the south end of addition 2, kind of on the southeast end there? What is that?
Probably just asphalt patching.
Yeah, without seeing exactly what you're pointing at, I'm assuming what you're seeing is some asphalt patching. as well as reconstructing a little bit of the curb just to maintain, I believe, a 24-foot wide drive aisle. So we're eliminating just a handful of parking stalls in that area, and then the required reconstruction of the parking lot.
Big of trucks are backing into that loading dock space?
Pardon, what was the question?
Yes, the loading dock, like how big are the trucks that are backing in that space?
I believe it was full-sized,
Yeah,
like
based
delivery
on,
vehicles.
that's correct. Based on our meetings with the school, especially related to kitchen supplies that are delivered, it could be up to a full-size truck that would back in there.
Full size meaning like semi truck, tractor trailer, or a box truck?
Correct. It could be a semi.
Okay.
And if the city wants it for documentation purposes, we did perform turning motions of like semi-vehicle trucks just to make sure that, you know, how that site plan is actually laid out can work with real sized vehicles. So we can provide those if needed.
Which AASHTO classification truck did you use?
We used a WB67. Not quite sure on the AASHTO.
That's a good answer.
version.
I'm gonna ask the engineer in the room, do I have any concerns about the wear and tear on that stretch of city street?
Hopefully the trucks leaving it aren't taking lefts, that they're kind of just gradually going east. If they're gonna try to take a left, it's gonna probably have some issues, but that might be did you guys look at taking lefts out of that loading dock, or mostly just kind of going to the right, following the flow of the dock?
Yeah, they won't be able to turn left and head west on that road. They'll essentially come in from the east, or from the west, traveling east, make just a gradual back into the loading dock, and then just have to pull straight out and continue to the east.
Not
So
even
you have to
bottom
go-
from the curb there.
You would have to go to the east to 7th Street, because I think that's a truck route up to 212 then from there, I believe, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
Sounds right.
9th Street would be a truck route coming from the south, or from the north, I mean, to get to that corner, and then you'd have to go over to 7th to exit.
We have signs blocking off 8th, or do they just all know that?
There probably are actually.
I think there is a no truck sign there on 8th, but it's been a couple of days since I've been by there, so.
I'm enlightened now to how much roads cost and how heavy trucks are on roads, so. Wanted to ask that question. I mean, is there a concern with putting a transformer that close to the loading dock? If you have trucks backing in, are we concerned about anybody making a mistake and hitting that transformer?
We will look at those geometries and provide bollards there as well to help protect that transformer.
In addition to the bollards and just geometrics that Patrick's mentioning, there's also an elevation change, and so there's going to be a retaining wall partially in between some of that area and a curb. So there is a potential for a truck to really get over there, but it would be quite out of the way and quite obvious if they were to head that direction.
They have to try.
Okay,
It sounds like it.
but that's what I want to know.
I would kind of assume that if there's a loading dock there, that I mean, going back to the old days, that was like maybe a main entrance into the school or one of the entrances, but now that you're putting a loading dock there, would not having some sidewalks in that area kind of discourage people from trying to at least walk in that area? Especially during like school hours, I guess. I'm assuming that these delivery trucks would be coming during like quote unquote business hours, not like at 10 o'clock at night or 4 in the morning, or, that type of thing. But by not having some sidewalk access there would kind of discourage people from parking and not making it convenient to get into the school by being in that area, I guess. is that some of the thoughts there with the potential sidewalking or what's the
Yeah.
consensus?
In concept, we're taking away some of the existing sidewalks. And so, there's citizens and people in the public that probably utilize those sidewalks in the existing condition. So it's best practice to try to replace those in kind. Since we haven't fully designed this area, that is something that we are thinking about is, we typically try to keep foot traffic outside of loading dock and industrial and commercial areas for that reason, for, people goof off and do things that they shouldn't. People also head over there and potentially there's dangerous items and just, dangerous items, even just, excess pipes or other tools laying out, potentially things like that. Given that this area isn't like tucked on the backside of a school and it's immediately adjacent to a couple of intersections, I don't see that concern as much. And so we'll have to continue studying what the district and what the city would truly want in terms of sidewalk and access and how those sidewalks can if there is space to be within the property lines, or if we have to shift some of those and make them part of the right of way.
I will say the city has passed before my time a complete streets resolution with a commitment to sidewalks and making Olivia walkable. So it would be nice to see some sidewalks in kind if you are removing them that currently exist.
Sidewalks on either side of Pine right now, are they?
Well, there's one along the building here,
By the
but
school, but I mean,
Yeah.
that going.
I think there's a new one over here by the parking lot here. There's a sidewalk over here.
There's nothing to the west.
Oh, from the school, yeah, to the west. Yeah, yeah, I don't think
There's
there,
nothing there right
no,
now.
no. North, south there is.
And then if we're taking a sidewalk out, we need to make sure it gets replaced.
Oh, yeah.
Any other discussion points here?
Excluding the hazardous situation of the parking and the sidewalk that we talked about getting arranged properly, I don't see any other troubles with it from my perspective.
It's gonna look a little industrial on that corner, but this is the best that the district could do with the referendum, so.
Well, and then the alternative, I mean, I don't think you'd want to have trucks trying to come into the parking lot and navigate through parked cars and other obstacles that would be there during quote unquote business hours. That students, I mean, whatever might be happening there. And yeah, and then also obviously adjacent to the structures that are needed, I mean, or the infrastructure that is needed for, you're not going to be carrying frozen hamburgers through the hallways to the kitchen through, I mean, you keep that contained to that particular section and it's right where it needs to be. So that makes the most sense. And
It's not a necessity.
right. So there again, I guess I don't have a problem with that either. So. Guess we'll entertain a motion for either acceptance or denial of this site plan 2 option.
I would make a motion to accept it.
I should say option A. We want, or I should say which option we are.
One.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Option 1.
There's a motion for acceptance of the variance for site plan option 1. Do we have a second for that?
Second, John?
It's been moved and seconded that we approve site plan option 1 for the both schools. Any further discussion on that? No discussion. We'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion passes. All right, so
I think that would conclude our meeting with Nexus. If you guys, feel free to leave the meeting if you have other things to do. Otherwise, you are welcome to stay. But
Sure.
we will wrap up our meeting. But we thank you for being here.
Sure. I just wanted to say thank you to the commission for your time and consideration tonight.
you bet, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so we will move to reports of council slash staff.
First thing that we have, the comprehensive plan. We put it in front of the council for approval, so we have an adopted comprehensive plan. Woo! So that is
I will get a
complete.
good old cheer.
So anybody has any, I know Mary Jo was very adamant of keeping it up to date. So if anyone has anything on their lists of things that we should look at for future meetings, feel free to reach out to me and we can put it on the agenda for discussion and how we can continue to make it a better product.
Or tackle some of the recommendations that
Yep.
were provided.
Yep, anything that you would like to focus on regarding that, we can put it on the agenda. And discuss it as a group to see how we can go forward with using it as a planning commission. The next report that we have, the council has also adopted the planning commission bylaws. So after 4 drafts, we have bylaws that were last updated in, I believe, 1966. So now we have new ones.
Great
As
job.
of 2024. That was the last time I could find any, and we built on those. So if anyone would like a copy of those, I can definitely get you a paper copy. Otherwise, I can send electronic copies as well. Same with the comprehensive plan. If anyone feels the need to have a paper copy, we can always make copies here at City Hall for your leisure to read it at night. You'll take one?
You're gonna get one in here.
Oh, there you go.
All the council is gonna get a paper copy in their door by then. Hopefully by Monday.
So then, yeah, we'll have them and will council take those or will they leave them here?
I think the idea is that they will be left in the drawers to reference at meetings. However, it is the council members' prerogative if they would like to take the binder home.
Yeah. So everyone here has the same choice. If you want your own, you can put it in a binder for you to take home. And yeah, same with the bylaws. Any other reports?
A couple, so City Hall project update, in case you're interested where we're at. So, council approved a quote from Arvig to work on the Variance Utilities project that is kind of going on at the same time as the City Hall project, because if you've noticed out in the parking lot, there's a gigantic pole where we would like to build a new police office. So the temporary pole has been set in the green space just behind the parking lot. And we are working together with all of the utilities to coordinate the bearing of this block. We're gonna go a little north, we're gonna go a little south and east. We are still moving forward with the alleyway vacation and then purchasing of those portions of the alleyway from the 2 property owners who share the alleyway with us, which would be the Olivia Ambulance and the Wordish family. So we have worked with our lawyers to secure purchase agreements, and we're working with Olivia Ambulance and the Wordishes to get those signed so we can move forward with that process. We will have a pre-bid meeting on May 20th, where different contractors can come into City Hall and see the scope of the project, with bid opening happening on May 30th. With hopeful council approval of bids on their June 3rd meeting. And that's when we'll get the hopeful thumbs up and keep moving forward. We continue to have good conversations with Bex. And just a plea, if you know of anybody who is looking to get involved in their local government process, we have openings on our Public Utilities Commission. We are very interested in members who, they don't need to know anything about utilities, they just have to have a willingness and eagerness to learn. Unlike the planning commission, you do have one spot open on the planning commission if you'd like to recruit for your group, but PUC does get pizza. So there is a benefit for PUC. They get pizza or Subway. They meet once a month. It's not a big time commitment. But we are looking for interested members. So if you know of anybody, they meet Wednesdays at 6 o'clock. The second Wednesday of the month. So let me know. We're a fun group. They get to learn more about utilities than they ever thought they'd learn in their lives, me included. And it's not too big of a commitment. So we're looking for interested people. And you are all connected, so refer your friends. And if the referral comes from the planning commission, we might serve you pizza at your next meeting.
Oh, that's it.
There's an incentive.
Everybody's gonna get on Facebook tonight.
Yes.
Come on,
I am
YouTube.
not above giving referral incentives, so let me know. So, that's what I got. I don't know if John had anything else to contribute from a council report.
No.
Good. Covered it all. All right, that is the end of the reports.
Why are we having road closed signs on our Depew Avenue, and are we getting asphalt pretty soon, or what's up with that?
That is the plan, is to get asphalt very,
Oh, like in the next week or so?
I understand them to be, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
They were ripping up the alleyways, you might have noticed
Yep.
on the pew. They were poured incorrectly, they were poured too small, snow plows are big. So they were widening those alleyways this week. But they're also working on some turf restoration and then asphalt.
So like if you got some bare spots in your yard, they'll come by and kind of touch that up a little bit, or?
On the pew, that's what they're supposed to be doing, overseeding if you have some bare spots and things like that. And of course, if you go further down to Pew towards the east, a number of places need just complete.
Yeah.
redo.
Are those gonna be marked, or do you have to notify someone if you have bare spots?
I believe they've been going through with their punch list to identify. But if you have specific concerns, feel free to reach out and I can flag your house for them if you have specific bare spots.
I have the specific bare spots, yes. That's winter kill, so.
I'll flag that for Kendra.
Well, any other discussion points? Otherwise, I will seek a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
It's moved and seconded, and we adjourn the meeting. All in favor, say aye. Motion passes.
Under an hour, go team.